down. So, Shannon, what do you got? What is the Patriots' record?
Man. I mean, I'm looking at this week 12 at home against Arizona. It'd be real nice and cold for Kyler. 13 and 14, Skip. I believe, like 13 and 14, Skip, I believe they're going to stay on the West Coast because they play one game like on Sunday, and then they have a following game that Thursday. So I believe, and both games are the Rams and the Chargers. So I believe they stay out on the West Coast for that because then they're on the road again at Miami. So they try to do Coach Belichick real dirty, try to do him real bad, Skip Bayless, but that's okay. They're going to come through with flying colors, and then week 16, 17 at home against the Bills and Jets. Now, since you love mentioning gambling, Fox Bet has the Patriots favored in 10 games. Did you know that, Skip? 10 of them.
I did. Mm-hmm.
Coach Belichick has remade this roster. He got younger. He got more athletic on the most important side of the football, he believes, which is the defense. They're going to win games like they won them last year with the defense. And he says, this is why I wanted to move on with Jarrett Stidham, because why would I pay a quarterback $30 million a year to manage the game like you know who did last year? He said he don't mention names. He's on to this season 2020. So with all that being said, Skip Bayless, I got the Patriots at 9-7.
Wait a second. You told me the Patriots would have a better record than Tom Brady, but you just picked Tom Brady to win 10 games, right? And now you got the Patriots. You're already conceding. You're conceding a 5-case bet of Diet Dew?
I ain't conceding. Skip, I'm not conceding anything. Because I even though I said 9-7, I got a sneaky feeling that there's gonna be a game here that y'all lose, Tampa loses, and there's one somewhere that I don't see right now that the Patriots are gonna win, and that thing gonna flip the script on you guys.
Ah, really? Well, that was a nice try. That was a nice scramble to get out of the trap that you stepped in, but. Now, it's my turn. The harder I look at this Patriots schedule, the more I think it has 6 and 10 written all over it. In fact, I would be impressed. I will be impressed if this team can even go 6 and 10. This is statistically, off last year's records, the hardest schedule in the entire National Football League. Then on degree of difficulty, strength of schedule, this is the hardest or the worst. So I look at it, and they do get to open at home against a Dolphins team they probably should beat. But I told you yesterday, on paper, the Dolphins are now a better football team than the Patriots. And if you tell me, well, it's Belichick over Brian Flores, well, I thought that until that last regular season game last year. So the Dolphins are going to end last year's season at Foxborough and begin this season at Foxborough, where they had a really good feeling. Ryan Fitzpatrick drove the Dolphins 80 yards in 13 plays against Bill Belichick's vaunted defense to win that game at the wire. After Brady had done what he always does, another fourth-quarter comeback, touchdown drive, looked like it was the game winner. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, in 13 plays, shredded Belichick's defense. So they're going to come into the opener with a pretty good feeling. I think they should start Tua. You don't. So even if it's Ryan Fitzpatrick, Ryan would probably have a little better chance of beating Belichick at Belichick in the opener. So let's say you've already predicted it's Ryan Fitzpatrick, so let's do that. Well, most people have this, most of the betting houses, including Fox Bet, have this around a 7-point game. That's too many, man. I'll take that right now. If you'll give me the Dolphins and 7 in that game, thank you. Again, I'll give you the dub on it. I'll say that New England gets off to a 1-0 start, but it's going to be much closer than 7 points. And I just want to remind everybody, Bill Belichick is going to replace the GOAT with a first-year starter who was a 4th-round draft pick, who last seen at Auburn in his final season at Auburn was terrible. Jarrett Stidham at Auburn. Just look it up. Go back and look what happened. They went 8-5. They lost all their big games. And in the biggest games against the Alabamas and the Georgias, he lost his accuracy. He lost his confidence. He lost his poise all too often. He was anything but Brady-esque then. And that's the last time he actually played high-level football. Now you're going to ask him to step into the shoes or the cleats worn by Tom Brady? Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr.? That guy's going to replace him? Shannon, do you realize the pressure on that poor kid? I feel for him. I hurt for him. I say good luck and God bless to Jarrett Stidham with a roster that looks worse than last year, trying to replace the GOAT? It's preposterous, but it's what Belichick is trying to do. He's saying, okay, so I did next to nothing in free agency, and I had a shockingly blah draft. I didn't really do much of anything. I didn't land any big-name players. Obviously, he could have taken Jordan Love at number 23. He did not. He's going with the player he still refers to, he did again last night, as Stid. Never heard him refer by nickname to any player in Belichick's history, and he's going with Stid. He loves Stid because Stid is his new Brady, at least in his delusional view. I'm going to show the world I can win, I can make the playoffs with Stid. Well, Shannon, help me out. What's left here? I give you Stephon Gilmore, might be the best corner in football. I give you that. I give you McCourty, or either both of McCourty. I'll give you those. I'll give you the back end of the defense. I will not give you the front seven. Too many defections, a parade, an exodus, too many holes left in the defense that did not get addressed. And on offense, show me the playmaker. Is it Edelman? Is it N'Keal Harry? I don't know. It looks like it's James White or bust. That would be the only player left on the offense I trust. Sony Michel got lost in Belichick's doghouse last year. The offensive line was below average. It didn't really get upgraded, except they put the tag on Joe Tooney, the left guard. Really? I don't get it. I don't see it. And now you're playing off last year's records, the toughest schedule in pro football. So, okay, let's say they beat the Dolphins. Then they go to Seattle. That's an L. And then can they beat the Raiders at home? Maybe. I don't know. The Raiders are pretty good with Derek Carr. But then here we go. At Kansas City. Then Broncos probably win that. But here we go. San Francisco. Buffalo. Buffalo's better than New England is. At Jets. Okay. They're going to lose that game. They can't beat the Jets at the Jets. Baltimore, L. Houston, at Houston, L. Kyler, that's a 50-50 game. I think Kyler probably wins that game. Then you got Chargers, Rams, both away. They'll lose one of those games. Then at Dolphins, they'll lose that game. Then Buffalo at home, they'll lose that game. And then maybe they could beat the Jets. That sounds like 6-10 to me, yet the NFL gave them the max 5 primetime games. Well, are we going to wind up rubbernecking those games? That's what it feels like to me. You're going to have to rubberneck those games because it'll be like watching accidents.
You're a hater. You're a hater.
Shannon, I'm sorry, I don't see it.
But when you look at the Patriots, okay, they don't play any teams that's coming off a bye. So nobody's going to have an extra week. You skip, sometimes, like, okay, they have this tough game, but they're going to be coming off a bye. They don't play any of these teams that's coming off a bye. And when was the last time that we looked at the Patriots roster and like, man, they loaded. Their roster always looked terrible. That's why we give them so much credit, because when we look at their roster, you're like, how the hell they keep doing all that? So, because Coach Belichick knows what he's doing, he's able to find value without playing market price or without he get that less than name brand. Skip, they keep the name brand at our level. They keep the stuff that's not name brand. It's like way down or it's way, way up. So That's what Coach Belichick does. He doesn't get the stuff at eye level, all these big names that you think, oh, he can rush the pass or he can catch this or he can do that. Coach Belichick said, I'm going to go right on down here and get this big old 15-pound box of cereal for $2 and watch where I make a meal out of this thing. And that's what's going to happen again. 9-7. And your team, we might tie.
Tie at 9-7?
Bucks and Patriots. Yeah.
What about?
Yeah, Bucks and Patriots. We might tie.
What about? Really? What about 5 more cases we don't tie? No, you don't want to do that. Shannon, I'm going to remind everybody out there. One more time. I'm going to remind everybody. Pre-Tom Brady, Bill Belichick as a head coach had 5 losing seasons out of 6. He was not very good. He had started 0-2 that year that Brady saved the day in the world and his job. Started 0-2, and Tom Brady fell out of heaven into his lap out of the 6th round. At that point, as a head coach, he was 41-57. He was 16 games under 500. I think he's going to get exposed. I'm sorry. Brady made Belichick. Stid will not be able to remake Belichick. Yep, you're right. He's positioned himself to say, look what I do with a bunch of no-names and Stid. And if he does make the playoffs and win this division again, he'll be the coach of the year for the first time in 10 years. Ain't happening. Nope, can't see it.
Yes,
6-10.
Skip, what? Look, why do you keep doing this? Let the man, you keep bringing up that man past. Shouldn't be judged by his past. Judge him by what he's going to do moving forward. That's what we do with people. Ain't that what we do? We don't judge a man on his past. Okay, he's moved past that. Okay. That was 20 years ago. What has he done the last 20 years? Yep. He's been a model citizen.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.